What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Stocks to Watch. And we again had a very flattish day as far as the broader market indices are concerned. And if I show you what Nifty has been doing, I think it kind of tells you the story. Now, Nifty has been broadly into a very tight range. Now, after the first day's bounce back, I think Nifty has just kind of been into this small narrow range. Now we haven't seen bearishness, but what we have seen is that bulls are not able to be dominant, and that is something that is quite worrying because we still haven't seen that big rally which we were expecting from demand. So this again gives you a sense that there is some level of weakness still around. Now, if I open up the indices, I think you will get a better picture of what the market has been doing, and I think it's really interesting on what they have been doing. Now, if you look at broader market indices, now Pharma, which liquidated a lot of buyers, and we were expecting Pharma to do really well, but Pharma did not. I think there were two pieces of news as well, which kind of played a spoil sport. Apart from that, we saw healthcare. Mid small was a little weaker today. Metals held on. Auto has been an outperformer, and to some level, energy has done decently well. Surprisingly, Bank Nifty was up 1%. That means banks started to have that uptick which was missing. So all in all, it's again a very mixed market from a broader market perspective. Private banks did try to bounce back. So again, maybe banks can probably try to save the overall markets. Now, as far as the overall markets are concerned, I'll just show you a heat map which kind of tells you a lot of things. So this is basically the top 800 stocks, and the stocks that did really well out of those 800 stocks are there on your screen. Now, we've got two Tata Group companies, Tata Investment, Tata Chemicals, which is good. Apart from that, if you look at the overall aspect, I think chemical stocks today did decently. Apart from that, some metal stocks, I think so. Rain Industries, you can see Orissa Minerals, you can see a bunch of fertilizer names doing occasionally well today. So again, it's a mixed bag. I mean, I can't really correlate a lot of things. So yes, I can see some fertilizer companies. I can see RCF. I can see NFL, which is again, something which we can think about. We've got MGL, Mahanagar Gas, and then we've got random companies. I mean, there's no correlation as such, but overall, I think it's a mixed bag. Now, if you look at the losers, and this is basically the top quartile of the losers, and I think you can see majority of pharma companies here: Lupin, Torrent Pharma, Cipla. We've also got, I think, a bunch of other names. So we've got Sequent down 2.5%. And yep, more or less PPL Pharma. This is Piramal Pharma that was also down 2.5%. So again, it's quite something which is not really exciting. And overall, I think we only have these many gainers. And Aether, we discussed Aether from the chemical space, was up 2%, but again, not something to be very excited about. So all in all, very flattish action. Now, stocks that I feel which are going to be on my radar for tomorrow, I have a very limited list because trust me, I scanned over 2,500 stocks before creating this video, and I was not really able to find any high conviction picks. So let's get started. I think we only barely have about 10 stocks. So before that, I'll just quickly tell you what the yesterday's watch list did. Now, Nupur Recyclers up 10%. Ganesha EcoSphere, this was up about 8.5%. Then Harrison Malayalam, I think this is up another upper circuit. Garware Fibers, Aether, Rupa, and Goa Carbon. It was up at one point. I think Goa Carbon was up 3.5% at one point. Yep, 4% at one point, but then it didn't really react really well. Apart from that, I think we've got a surprise from Pharma and IT, which I was expecting to move higher. Amber, Sangam, Naukri, I still expect they can do well. So all in all, we've got a very specific list to kind of play with. First one on the list is Angel One, and we've seen what IIFL Securities has done, and I just want to show that to you. This is IIFL Securities, and for the last few sessions, this has been outperforming. So Angel One setting up really nicely around the VWAP, around the moving average. I'm sorry, and it has been contracting nicely. There's a volume try up, so I think Angel One's time to bounce back is there. Now, if you look at it, the stock has corrected almost 32% from the highs, and I think that leg of correction is done. And I think the FNO trading restrictions obviously is going to hit on revenue and margins of all brokers, but I think that already has been accounted for. Next up, we've got JK Cement. Now, this is not a stock which is ready for me, but I think this is the area where I'm going to be looking to buy just because it's going to be at an area of demand and the risk reward would be favorable. Next up, we've got Usha Martin, which is again creating a nice base, and I think this is going to be an interesting one to watch out for. Could move out of this base. R Systems is another name which is creating a nice little base. Again, this is a mid cap stock which is into the technology services business, and again, this is one of the best available setups. I wouldn't say this is the best base in the world, but I think this is what I would accept at the moment. Sarah Sanitary were another name which is just reacted from an area of demand, filled up a very old gap. So I think this is also something, and this is also corrected by a decent margin. So I'm not going to be surprised if I see this going back up for the highs, because this has been a consistent compounder. So good stock, but again, the location is nice. That's the reason I like it. Now, one of the most interesting names that I found out today was Hindustan Motors. Now, there's this frenzy in Hindustan Motors, and we all know this, right? So you can look at this over here. The stock literally went up from 18 to about 48 in a matter of a month. So 1 month, 170%. Now the stock is back to where it started from. So I think this is going to be like a value play. So I think this is going to be an interesting one. We've got Butterfly Gandhimati Appliances. This is also a similar setup around the area of demand. So I really want to be seeing how this works out. Vito Switchcares is another one with a similar, setup. Max India into the healthcare services business. This is also setting up a really nice base. It has grabbed liquidity below these lows. So again, I think this is interesting, and it's probably going to move higher. Now, one of the most interesting names that I found out was Avalon Technology. So Hind Motors and Avalon Technologies. Now, Avalon did move up 8% today, but I think this is a stock that we shouldn't be missing out on. And positionally, I think this is going to be a great stock, because if you look at the weekly chart for this stock, I think on the weekly there is a positional trade for an aggressive trader like me. I think this is obviously you might find this as a big enough stop loss, but I think this is what I'm going to be looking at, at least like a 60-70% move in the next upcoming maybe 6 months or maybe 9 months. If I talk about my expectation, I think, yeah, about in 90 odd days, I'm expecting this to move about 40-50%. That's basically my hypothesis here. The base is really nice, and the stock is good. So I think this is going to be an interesting one, but do keep it on your radar. Next up, we've got Yatharth Hospitals, and again, this is also another very, very few names which are near their all-time highs. Yatharth Hospitals is one of them, making a really nice base. This is what is called outperformance. So I think I really like it. And last but not the least, I think we've got Venky's, which is again at an order block. Not reacted yet, but I think this is something that would give a good reward to risk ratio. So all in all, I think I've only got these very, very specific names that I would want to keep on my radar. Apart from that, I think I would prefer staying cash. Now there are a bunch of stocks which have started to move up from their lows. Now if I open up and show you what basically happened in the mid cap space, and likewise in large cap. So this is the large cap space. When you look at Power India, you look at Mazdog, you look at Gujarat Floor, you look at Apar Industries, East India Hotel, Tata Investments, for Fertilizer and Agriculture Corporation of India. So which is fact. CG Power, BDL, Kotak Mahindra Bank also reacted from demand. Tata Chemicals, Medanta. Again, these stocks have moved, but they've not really given us a setup to kind of trade. And if I look at mid caps, again, we've got like a mixed bag from almost like every sector. SW Solar, okay, one more stock. I think I'll just add this to my list. Sterling Wilson Solar, I think this is also at a good price, good value buy area for you to look to buy. Otherwise, I'm not really able to find that strength in the market. So for me, I think I'm only going to be focusing on specific plays. Otherwise, I'll stay cash and wait for the markets to kind of roll back again. So that's it from my side. If you liked this, please drop in a comment and do subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. That really encourages me and my team to put in more efforts and create content for you. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye bye. And all the best for your trading day tomorrow.